All right, let's do a quick review this week. We're going to work questions 27 through 42. So start at number 27. Let's take a look. Solve for x. I have the three angles of a triangle. One of them is 55, the other one is 4x plus 3, and this third one, this red box, is 90. So I have all three angles. And I learned that when you add the three angles of a triangle, so let me add everything, 4x plus 3 plus 55 plus 90. When I add the three angles of a triangle, it will always add up to 180. Cool. Let me separate them through the equal sign. Right, the rest is just algebra. On the left side, let me condense it. When it comes to letters, I just have 4x. When it comes to just numbers, 3 plus 55 plus 90. That is 148. And I know all this is equal to 180. I want the 4x by itself. So this plus 148, I'm going to cancel it as long as I write it on the other side as a minus 148. I got to move it to the other side, but change the sign, right? Opposite operation. So I have that 4x is equal to 180 minus 148. I know that's 32. To get x by itself, I have 4x equals 32. So to get x by itself, let me divide both sides by the number in front of x. So in this case, let me divide by 4. I know 32 divided by 4 is 8. So x equals 8. The instructions were solve for x. So basically find the value of x, 8. So my homework, just type in the number 8. Question number 28. I'm going to add everything, right? 40 plus 60 plus 16x is equal to 180. All right, letter-wise, on the left side, I just have 16x. Just numbers, I have 40 plus 60, so that's 100. So I have 16x plus 100 equals 180. I condense the left side. I want the 16x by itself, so the plus 100. Let me just cancel it as long as I write it on the other side as a minus 100. So 16x is equal to 80. Right, 180 minus 100 is 80. To get the x by itself, let me divide both sides by 16. 80 divided by 16 is 5. So x equals 5. Cool. Just type in my homework, just type in the number, so just 5. Now here, find the measure of each angle indicated. So there's a question mark in here. Let me call it x. We learned in algebra that when we don't know the value of something, we replace it with the letter. So let me call that x. Now I want you to solve for x. But I also mentioned a couple of days ago that the triangle where x is, that is not where you're going to start. You're going to start at the other triangle. So I'm looking at this triangle. I see two values, right? Two angles, 22 and 27. If I add those two numbers, 22 plus 27, I know I get 49. When you have two angles of a triangle, you can find the third one because you know all three add up to 180. So 22 plus 27 gave me 49. Let me subtract that from 180. So I'm going to get that the third angle is 131. Another rule that I remembered is vertical angle theorem. When there's an x form, opposite angles are equal. You see my x there. So I'm going to say this other angle right here, it is 131. Now, let me take a look at this blue triangle. The 21, by the way, is this corner right here. It just didn't fit all the way to the right. I know two angles of that triangle, right? 131 and 21. I should be able to solve for the third angle. If I add 131 plus 21, if I add the two angles that I have, I know that's 152. Let me subtract that from 180. 180 minus 152 is 28. So there, x equals 28, or in my case, just 28. We found the value of x. All right, let's take a look at number 30. Let me look for the question mark, the angle that I'm looking for, and that question mark, let me replace it with an x. So I'm gonna solve for x. I'm going to start with a triangle that doesn't have an x. So I'm gonna start at this red triangle. I have two angles, right? 43 and 26. I know 43 plus 26 is 69. If I add those two angles, it's 69. Let me subtract that from 180, and that gives me 111. That means that this angle right here is 111. Based on vertical angle theorem, right? When there's an x form, you guys see my x here, opposite angles are equal. So I'm going to say this is 111 based on the vertical angle theorem. Now, I see this triangle. I know two angles, right? 29 and 111. I know those two angles. If I was to add 29 plus 111, that's 140. Subtract that from 180 because all three angles are equal to 180. So that gives me 40. Cool. I just found the value of x. Now looking at number 31, order the sides of each triangle from shortest to longest. Have the angles, not the sides, but I still have to order the sides. What I'm going to do, let me find the smallest angle. The smallest angle is 45, and that is opposite from this side. So I'm gonna say the shortest side, I can either go BD or DB, right? The two letters that make that side, order does not matter. So I'm gonna say either of those is good for the first one. Now the medium side, when I look at the angles, 66 will be the medium, and that is opposite from this side. Now that side I'm either gonna call CD or DC. Right? It doesn't matter which one you use. You got choices. Make sure the letters are capital though. CD or DC. Now the third side, the longest side, I look at the longest angle. This is opposite to this side. So I'm gonna say the longest side, it's either BC or CB. However you guys want to call it. CB or BC. The order of the two letters doesn't matter. All right, let's take a look at number 32. The smallest side, let's see, I'm going to compare my angles. The smallest angle that I see is 42. So this is the smallest side, right? The smallest angle is opposite to the smallest side. Now I can call that NL or LN, right? You don't have to do all choices. My case, let me choose NL, right? In number 31, I wrote all my choices. Question number 32, I'm just going to write one choice. But I could call it LN if I want to. So I'm just going to choose one of my choices, NL. Now, medium side, it's 44. Angles wise is 44, so that means this side. I'm going to call this MN. If you call it NM, you're okay. Now, the biggest side, I find the biggest angle is 94. that is opposite to this side. So the biggest side will be ML. If you call it LM, you're okay. Number 31, I wrote all my possible choices. Number 32, I just wrote one. You just had to choose one, okay? Now let's take a look at number 33. Remember, I'm working up until number 42. Okay, number 33. Order the angles in each triangle from smallest to largest. Okay. So let me find the smallest side is 8. And that is opposite to this angle. Now this angle, you have different ways how you can write it. All right. If you're going to use all three letters, make sure U is in the middle. So I can call this SUT or TUS, right? I'm using all three letters. U is in the middle. Or you can just call it angle U, just one letter. Either of those three choices will do it. Make sure all the letters are capital. All right, medium side. I know 16 is the medium side. The angle that is opposite from 16 is this one. So that angle, all right, if you're going to use all three letters, make sure T is in the middle. So I can call that either STU, UTS, or just angle T. Either three letters or one letter. If you're going to use all three, the vertex is in the middle. If you're going to use just one letter, obviously the vertex. All right, the biggest side, let's take a look. The biggest side is 18. So that means the biggest angle is this one. If you're going to use all three letters, make sure S is in the middle. So T as U, U as T, or just S. Either of those three choices for each name is fine, right? Number 33, I wrote all my possible choices. Number 34, I'm just going to choose one. Okay. The smallest side is 12. And that is opposite to this angle. So that means the smallest angle is that one. Okay. I'm going to write it using three letters. I'm going to keep W in the center. So I'm going to go X, W, Y. There's three ways how I can write that angle. That's the one I'm going to choose. You choose whichever one you want. The medium side, I'm going to say it's 15. And that is opposite to this angle. Okay, so I'm going to use three letters for that angle as well. I'm going to use all three letters, but Y is in the center. So let me call this W, Y, X. All right, there's three ways on how to write this. That's the way I chose. You can choose whichever one you want. Now, the biggest side I see is 20. The biggest angle is this one. There's three ways I can write that angle. I'm going to choose this time, right? I could use three letters, but this time, let me just choose one. When it comes to angles, I can either use one letter or three letters. Okay. Then moving along, question number 35 and 36, it says, state if the three numbers can be the measures of the sides of a triangle. So looking at number 35, let me identify the two small numbers. If I add those two small numbers, 8 plus 7, it has to be bigger than the third side. So I ask myself, is 8 plus 7 more than 17? It cannot be less, it cannot be equal, strictly more than. I know 8 plus 7 is 15. Is 15 more than 17? No. So no, I cannot make a triangle out of that. Looking at question number 36, the two small numbers are 8 and 7. So then I'm going to add those two numbers and I'm going to ask myself, is 8 plus 7 more than the third number? Is 8 plus 7 more than 10? Right? 8 plus 7 is 15. So is 15 more than 10? Yes, I can make a triangle out of those three sides. Now for the range, two sides of a triangle have the following measures. Find the range of possible measures for the third side. Okay, so the third side, I'm going to call it X. It's in between two numbers. Look, I'm using the less than sign. So X is in between two numbers. I'm going to say in this case, it's in between 3 and 15. Okay. The way I came out with my 3, as a matter of fact, to help you guys out, let me write a minus here and let me write a plus here. Okay, so the way I came out with my 3, I subtracted my numbers. 9 minus 6. Distance is always positive, so I didn't go 6 minus 9 because that gives me a negative number. I went 9 minus 6. The way I came out with the 15 because I added my numbers. So 3 is less than x, which is less than 15. I'm just saying the third side is any number between 3 and 15. All right, for 38, my third side is in between two numbers. So I'm going to say in this case is in between 3 and 19. 11 minus 8 gives me 3. 11 plus 8 gives me 19. So see what I did? All right, let's take a look at number 39. Find the value of x. I see that all three angles are equal. So this angle is opposite to this side. I use green. This angle is opposite to this side. And I'm going to say this angle is opposite to this side. All three angles were marked to begin with. So all three angles are equal. That means all three sides are equal. So for me to solve for x, I'm just going to say 2x plus 22 is equal to 6. Right? All three sides are equal. So just choose two of them and they're equal to each other. All right, so the rest is just algebra. Let me separate them through the equal sign. I want the 2x by itself, so the plus 22. Let me move it over as a minus 22. So that gives me the 2x equals 6 minus 22 is a negative 16. To get the x by itself, there's a 2 in front of x. So let me divide both sides by 2. So I get that x is equal to negative 8. Cool. Easy to find x, just negative 8. Now looking at number 40, this angle, I'm looking at the angles that are marked. This angle is opposite to this side. And this angle is opposite to this side. Because those two angles are equal, those two sides must be equal. So I'm just going to say 10 equals x plus 18. We separate them to the equal sign to get the x by itself. This plus 18, let me move it over as a minus 18. So I get that negative 8 is equal to x. X is by itself. X equals negative 8. I'm done. Cool. Let's take a look at number 41. I have that the measurement of angle 2 is 4x plus 9. So right here where the 2 is, let me replace that with 4x plus 9. And I see two sides that are marked. You guys see the slashes. So this side goes with this angle, right? I'm going to mark the opposite angle. And then this side goes with this angle. Those two sides are equal. So those two angles that I just marked are equal. All right, so having that said, I'm going to say 41 equals 4x plus 9. Those two sides were equal, so that means those two angles are equal. Separate them to the equal sign. I want the 4x by itself, so the plus 9, let me go over as a minus 9. So that gives me 32 is equal to 4x. All right, 41 minus 9 is 32. So 32 equals 4x. I want x by itself. There's a 4 in front of x. So let me divide both sides by 4. So I get 8 is equal to x. So x equals 8. Cool. That was not bad. Looking at number 42. Measurement of angle 2 is 6x plus 7. So this angle 2, let me replace it with a 6x plus 7. I'm going to write it out here. That's that angle. I see two sides are equal, so let me see. This side goes with this angle. This side goes with this angle. Because those two sides are equal, those two angles are equal. Having that said, I'm going to say the blue angle is going to be, I'm going to write it inside 6x plus 7. Those two angles are equal. So one of them is 6x plus 7, so is the other one. All right, I notice that I have all three angles of a triangle, so let me add everything. 94 plus 6x plus 7 plus 6x plus 7. When you add all three angles of a triangle, it is equal to 180. Okay, let me condense the left side. Let me combine like terms. 6x plus 6x, that is 12x. Then just numbers, 94 plus 7 plus 7, that is 108. And all this is equal to 180, right? I condensed the left side, right? I made it less. I want the 12x by itself. This plus 108, I'm going to cancel it as long as I write it on the other side as a minus 108. So I get that 12x is equal to 72, right? 180 minus 108 is 72. 1x by itself, so let me divide both sides by 12. So x is equal to 6. Pretty cool.